When you think about the ideal urban pet, the one that you would want living in a tighter, higher populated environment, maybe you live in a condo or an apartment in a downtown area, or even if you're in one of the more high density residentials like us. So ideal pets are something that's not going to make your neighbors real irritated. They don't need huge roaming space, that type of thing. Now, if you go to a downtown area or an urban area, you might see people walk around with really big dogs, and you think to yourself, huge dog, small apartment, but we had Mastiffs. Mastiffs don't need a lot of room, and they don't do too much to get tired, and then they sleep all day. So, a unique urban pet. People think about dogs and cats, maybe small birds. Well, small birds, have you thought about a chicken? Urban chickens are an ideal pet. Now, this here is Fafner. Fafner has been trained to wear a diaper. I think it was 6 or 8 weeks. As soon as she had enough tail feather on her badunkadunk, we put diapers on them. This is a full-size chicken. Makes a fantastic urban pet. As you can see, diapered. No mess. Change it a few times a day. And they run around, they cuddle, they like to talk to you. Chickens are amazing. And it makes a big difference too if you hatch them versus just buying them store-bought. They tend to get handled pretty roughly from the breeders, and they're not as trusting and friendly. We just hatched one, and I've seen a huge difference when you raise it and you hatch it yourself, and it only sees you. Then they're fearless, and they trust you 100%. So for indoor chickens, we've had these guys about 6 months. So we're just getting eggs. With 4 chickens, we get sometimes 4 eggs a day, sometimes we get 2 eggs a day, but you always get at least 1 egg. And skip a couple days and you got a dozen already. Fafnir here is quite adept to living inside and quite spoiled. Yeah. We get the egg sown once in a while. And she doesn't mind being carried around like a chihuahua. They can be loud, but no louder than a dog, no louder than a cat. Just as messy as a cat and dog, easily. Probably cleaner in the poo department. You don't have to walk them in the rain. They have their own character. They're entertaining. They're fun. They do get bored. And if you let them, they'll be as destructive as a cat or a dog. They're not much different. All winter we grow crops for the chickens. They've got a variety of different leafy greens. So this is what I call a unique urban pet. So, I'd like you to meet Gizmo. Gizmo's not too sure about being here right now, but Gizmo is a gorgeous silkie. Now silkies have a completely different type of fur. And you see one of our videos here where we put Gizmo in, gave Gizmo a spa day. Gizmo got a little dirty. Gizmo got a diaper on. And all 4 of our chickens have the diapers. They run around and act just like a cat or a dog. Now, these are so soft. The silkies are a fantastic breed. They're not the smartest, but they don't need much space at all. They're almost the ideal urban breed. If you have a condo or an apartment and you really want a pet chicken, silkie or Sarama. Small, gorgeous, cuddly. The Saramas are more interactive. We just hatched our first one, and we'll be getting a few of those going. Trying to decide what is the best urban chicken. But the silkies are pretty darn good. They're tiny. They don't want much room. If you had a one-bedroom apartment and you had a diapered silkie or two, they'd be fantastic. They'd just kind of hang out. They'd cuddle with you. Ideally, if you can hatch them and get to know them right when they come out of the shell, they're going to be a lot more brave. Very proud little silkie. Look at that. Great form. Got the little diaper on. Big old poofy tail. We really enjoy the silkies. I think silkies are one of the best breeds for a small urban space. If you want to have an ideal urban pet, that's it right there. Look at that little guy, just tiny. And that's full grown. That's a full grown chicken. We're talking 2.5 pounds of bird. That's it. All furred out and feathered. And they don't eat much. They just hang out. So this is Knuckles. Knuckles is an Iowa Blue. Knuckles is the most chill chicken. Knuckles is one of the most ideal urban pets that I've ever owned, and I've had lots of cats and dogs. Knuckles will hang out and sit on your chair next to you. Diaper, so you don't have to worry about the poos. Knuckles is not one of the more dominant part of the flock, but she's very chill. She loves to be carried around like a little chihuahua. She loves to be loved and petted and smooched on, and just an absolute cuddle monster. We get huge eggs. They're 2 to 2.2 ounces, so they're the biggest of all the birds. And she's not the biggest. The buff Orpington is quite a bit bigger. But yeah, Knuckles puts out the eggs. Knuckles is a great bird, great pet. Knuckles is the one bird that has no problems in the stroller. So we'll push the stroller we built around with the chickens in it. Knuckles can do a leash. Knuckles goes to the different big box hardware stores with us. Walks around, rides in the cart. You can carry her. She's just an absolute, I guess, chihuahua of chickens. Just absolutely chill. You can carry her around like this all day long. She's a one-hander. No fighting, no muss. And this is a full-size chicken. So the regular hatchery chickens, these full-size common breed, like this Iowa Blue, they do get bored. That's one of the, but you know, dogs and cats get bored too. So when they get bored, one of the things you can do is get what I call the seed bottle out. So we took a sports drink bottle and drilled 8 holes in it, and then we fill it with bird seed or whatever their favorite treat is. Something that's just a little smaller than the hole, maybe half the size of the hole, and you can put it down. And the chickens will kick it around. They'll pretend like they're scratching, and they knock the bottle. The bottle rolls, seeds fly out, and then they peck them all up. And if you get the right seed mixture in there, they will eat all of them. It may take them an hour or two, but that's the whole reason you put it in the bottle and let them kick it around. You want them to be entertained. Chickens are really smart. They know commands. You can train them. The internet says they can learn 7 words. I think they learn a lot more. Plus, I think they know body language. And there's a level of trust. You have to treat them well, and you have to give them love, and they have to know that, you're joining part of a flock when you're with all these chickens. We grow leafy greens for them. So I like to take a tripod, tie the leafy greens under it, and let the chickens all take turns batting at it. It's kind of like a chicken piñata, but it's much easier for them to pick pieces of the lettuce off and eat them up. And it goes faster and it makes a little less of a mess. Chickens can be messy if you let them. As you'll see in some of the photos I'll put on here, we've been creating these little pans that they go in. All their food and water's in a pan so that when they scratch, it doesn't fly out all over the floor. I mean, they make a good enough mess. Our dogs did too. Give the dogs a bone, they go over in the corner and they make a huge saliva mess on the floor. There's bits and pieces everywhere. Dog hair on the floor. You gotta go vacuum it up, you gotta sweep it up, you gotta mop. Same thing with the chickens. The main difference is we planned on having pets in our life. So we put down vinyl garage floor tiles throughout parts of our house, and we do everything that way. Makes life easier. So we're more of a very practical urban family. This is Mr. Wiggles. We love the name. Mr. Wiggles is actually a hen, but we love the name so much, that's what you got. Mr. Wiggles is a silkie, just like Gizmo. Mr. Wiggles here, being a silkie, is, I guess it used to be an exotic. They're not really exotic anymore. They're just pretty common chickens. This was a breeder here in Oregon that we were able to go to a farm store and pick out. Mr. Wiggles likes to hang out. She just wants to sit and be warm. Mr. Wiggles just absolutely loves to run around and play and be part of the flock, but she's definitely the lowest on the totem pole. But you can see the size of this chicken. Tiny, tiny little chicken. Let's get some better light on her. Look at that. She's like, can I jump? No. Probably hurt her little feet. She's very chill. As you can see, she's got the diaper on in the back. As you can see, she's kind of an ideal small space pet. She's timid. Takes her a little while to adapt, but you see, she's just kind of frozen up, and she'll sit there for quite a while until she figures out she's safe. But look how small she is. Mr. Wiggles is coming in at under 2 pounds. Mr. Wiggles is laying eggs and is an adult. This is a full-sized silkie. So the eggs are tiny. I mean, they're tiny. They're the size of a Serama egg. They're not very big. 2 of them will still make you a breakfast. It just won't be a huge amount of eggs. It takes silkies a little longer to mature. But when they do, they fit right in, and they do the same things that the big girls do, the big factory chickens. You can see the little diaper and the wings spread out. They have that same weird feathering. It's more like a fur than a feather. The actual wings out here, those look more like feathers, and they feel more like feathers. But all this back here is very downy, very soft. They're really quite cuddly chickens. They're extremely nice. She's quite scared to be out here, so we won't prolong this too long. We just wanted to make sure we got all 4 chickens in the video and share the fact that these are the new urban trend. If you're high density urban and you want a chicken or you want a unique pet, try chickens. Give them a shot. Go with the smaller breeds. They're a little more, they fit better. The poos are smaller, they eat less, they take up less space, they need less space, they're very personable. They're not much different than a small dog or a cat. So if you get a chance to look at small chickens, do it. If you want a unique urban pet, chickens. You've got to try it.